Is working, right? Mic check. Let me know. Let me know if anybody can't hear me. Sunday night. It's a holiday weekend. Long weekend. Time to unwind. Hit a stogie. About to hit a nice cigar. Boutique. Called the Circus. And talk a little bit of Epstein files here. You know what I mean? Got my Ace here with me. My dog. Let's see what's popping in my YouTube up in here. Let me get some more lighting. There you go. It's much better. Nice night out here in South Florida, baby. Paradise. Oh, no way. Mm-mm. Get down. Go over here, Pretzel. Pretzel, come over here. Pretzel. Pretzel, come on this side. Come on this side. Come on, buddy. Come on this side. Ah. No, come on this side right here. This side. There you go. Shit. Come on this side. Yeah, yeah. We're talking a little bit of Epstein files. Let's see if this shit pops up any minute. Just lit up a nice cigar. With a cold drink. Now, staying dry, boys and girls. Mmm. Share this. There you go. We're back here. We're back. All right, man. Cigars and Epstein files up in here. Let's talk a little bit of Epstein files. Yesterday, we had Department of DOJ announces has released all Epstein files under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, including justified redactions and a list of high-profile names appearing in the document. Now, basically, it was a list of names, a lot of names. Pam Bondi's signature there at the end. However, this is not the list you think it is. Not all these people are like pedophiles or were involved in the Epstein sex acts, right? So, as people are kind of misinterpreting this list that came out yesterday, it's pretty much anyone that Epstein talked about in emails or whether a peer, like for example, Elvis and Marilyn Monroe appear despite being dead at that time. And Beyonce only was mentioned in talks of buying tickets. So if there was their name would appear on an email, whether it wasn't a direct conversation, maybe saying, "Oh, my favorite singer of Elvis, my favorite singer of all time is Elvis. I love the King, and man, Marilyn Monroe was so hot." Him talking to, let's say, David Stern when they were going to set up their gangbangs. That's why there's a lot of names here that are going to be like, "Wow, I can't believe that." So it's not a transparency. It's not as crazy. To be more in debt, right? To be more in debt about it. Let me see what we got here. Let me fix the. There you go. Hold on a second. There you go. Just fixing the camera real quick. Let me go ahead and share this link. But to be more in debt of what the list is all about, let me get this article here. It contains a list of high-profile names as described politically exposed persons who referred to in the files. Now, the names that appear in the file under the Act in a variety of contexts, for example, some individuals had direct email contact with Epstein or Maxwell, while others individuals just mentioned only in a portion of the document, press reporting, or that kind of stuff. The letter says the department releases all records in its possession. So this is just saying, hey, look, I'm transparent. We're just going to release every single name that we saw in the files, whether he had a conversation directly with them, even if they were mentioned on specific conversations. It also states that no records were withheld. So it relates to Epstein in the accordance to the requirements of the law. So this is like, by the District of New York. You have to release everything that they saw. So whether they were talking to them or whatever the case may be. It also states that no records are withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any governmental or public office figure. The Justice Department that immediately respond to the formal request. So right here, this list right here that I'm going to share with you. Give me 1 second. Let me get back here. Come on. Oops. This list right here. Right here. That list right there that has a bunch of names. As I mentioned earlier, is everybody that appeared. It's everybody that appeared on every type of communication. Again, not necessarily the names on this list. All of them are involved in any of the sexual abuse or the orgies or whatever the hell you want to call it that Epstein was doing in that freaking island. But it's funny. I want to go through the entire list and kind of point out some of the names that jump out the page. Again, I don't know who's in trouble here or not just yet. We've heard, Clinton and everybody else. But it's funny. It's in alphabetical order by last name. So as I go, start from the letter A, the one that stands out, right, is Assange Julian, right? I mean, he was all over the news. Beyonce. But however, Beyonce was just, I think he was asking for tickets for a music performance or something like that for Beyonce. Steve Bannon, Hunter Biden is in the house. Blinken Anthony, Pam Bondi is in this list. She's in the list. However, like I mentioned, she was probably named in conversation, the email, like saying, "Yo, Pam Bondi's gonna get my ass in Florida," because she was a state attorney in Florida. Remember that? All right, who else we got? George W. Bush is in this list. Again, he probably was mentioned at one point in an email. Not the fact that he was involved in getting freaky with it, but GW is in this list. I mean, George Bush. Tom Carper. Cher. I'll guarantee you Cher is probably, he's trying to get tickets. But I would be surprised if Cher was involved in some of this shit, dude, because, she's like 90 years old and dating like a 32-year-old. So Cher likes to get down. Bill Clinton. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Bill Clinton. I mean, Oval Office, Monica Lewinsky. Of course, Bill Clinton is legit involved in some of these crazy ass parties, all right? George Clooney's in the list as well. I don't know from what content or whether he was just mentioned or I don't know. But that's a part about this list. We don't know who is in trouble or not. It's just every name that came out in all the email search from the Epstein files. This is what DOJ released yesterday. I just want to go over the names. Bill Cosby. Oh, damn, man. Bill. Come on, Bill. Bill was getting freaky with it, man. I'm not sure. Well, Cigars and Sports, y'all. I'm usually a sports channel, but today talk a little bit of Epstein files on a nice long weekend, trying to enjoy a cigar here in South Florida, baby. Look at that. Look at that stogie, man. Look at this weather. You gotta love paradise. Yo, man, feel free in the chat to comment. Your boy loves to answer back. We left off at Bill Cosby. Alan Dershowitz, of course. We know Alan is in deep shit. Right? We know Alan is in deep shit. So Let me go ahead. What else we got? What else we got? All right. Another name. I'm going down the Michael Flynn, Bill Gates, of course. Bill Gates. Bill Gates supposedly was asking Epstein for some herpes medicine for his wife. Well, no, I'm sorry, herpes medicine for himself because he caught it in one of the parties. Apparently, Bill Gates loved young biology students. Fucking piece of shit. I never liked that guy. Bill Gates. What a piece of shit. And here's a name that's strange. Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani, the mayor, New York's mayor, the best mayor of all time. However, again, we don't know to what level. Just like Pam Bondi, all right, just like Beyonce, they might have been in an email talking about Giuliani or something like that. Nikki Haley. So now we're getting some people from both sides of the fence, man. You got some Republicans, you got some Democrats. Pure disclosure, they just released every name. They probably did a control find through all the documents for names, and they did like a pivot table and match them all, and boom. But Giuliani and Nikki Haley is in this list as well. We don't know from what is the context or what was the involvement at all. Again, it could be just them being mentioned on an email, on a conversation. Sarah Huckabee. All right. What else we got? These I'm just trying to rattle the names that I know in this list, and I'm up to like H right now. So this is alphabetical order. Is like 2 pages long. All right. Let me see here. Miriam Adelson. I don't know who that is. All right. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin. Well, he is in the list. I know Alec definitely partied with Epstein. Sure, Hollywood. Got my dog out here with me. Got my dog with me. All right, let's see. Who else do we got? Alec Baldwin, Jeff Bezos, Jill Biden. We don't know what level Jill Biden is involved. I know Hunter for sure hit a couple of parties, but Jill probably was, when communications. I don't know. We don't know yet. But Joe Biden and Jeff Bezos, I know Bezos freaky dog. Bezos likes to get down. So in a bad way, not in a good way. We have Blair Tony, Bongino Don Bongino, right? Former assistant to the Cash Patel dude. Gorgeous night down here in South Florida. Hey, feel free to hit up with the chat. You know what I'm saying? Hey. See what we got. Oh, sorry. Trying to figure this chat out. Everyone, feel free to hit up the chat if you want to have any questions. All right, we're down to Bezos. Let me see who else is in here. Cory Booker. Now, recently came out that Cory Booker was asking for money. No, I'm sorry. It was Hakeem Jeffries. Never mind. Not Cory Booker. But Cory Booker, another Democrat. Rick Bradshaw, another congressman. Jeb Bush, second Bush. We already had George W. Bush in the mix. And now Jeb Bush was also, name was found in the Epstein files. All right, let me see who else. And of course, one of the biggest pieces of shit in the world, Fidel Castro. I'm a Cuban American. Fuck you, Fidel. All right. I don't know if Fidel went to the island. I highly doubt it, but Fidel is a piece of shit. So Fidel Castro is a piece of shit. So most likely he was involved in some way. That's one that I hope is burning and suffering in hell. It's not very Christian to me, but Fidel Castro is a complete nightmare who absolutely destroyed a country. Let's go. Who else we got? Chelsea Clinton is also in the list. I'm up to the C's right now. Chelsea Clinton. She probably went to the parties with Bill and Hillary. There's pictures of all of them hanging out with Epstein. So Why not Chelsea? Man, Chelsea's one busted looking girl, dude. She was ugly as a kid, and she's ugly as an adult, dude. I'm telling you. Kurt Cobain, rest in peace, Kurt Cobain. But a lot of these Hollywood actors, man, it's Epstein. No, pretzel. We all know. We all know exactly that Hollywood is, frequent a lot of his parties. As him being in Hollywood himself. Go over there. All right. Got my dog with me right here today. Let's see where we're at. All right. So, boom, 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 boom. Ron DeSantis is also mentioned in this list. I don't know from what level or what context. Again, this is all the names that appear in all the files, whether they had an involvement with Epstein or was just based on conversations. Let me see here. Phil Donahue is also on this list. I'm up to the D's right now. Phil Donahue is in this list. I'm only in page 1 up to like this part right here, the second row. For everybody that's just tuning in, the Epstein files were released yesterday as part of the Transparency Act, right? So Transparency Act. So pretty much what they're doing is they're releasing out all the names, right, that were mentioned in the documents, whether it was a direct conversation or it was just names that came up in the conversations, email conversations, text messages, and stuff like that. So while other individuals are mentioned only in a portion of the document, including press reporting, that is unrelated to the Epstein's matter. So that's kind of the only thing. As more concrete stuff comes out, some of these names are going to be not mentioned again. Some of them might be mentioned in further involvement with Epstein. So I'll let the Phil Donahue. Of course, Jeffrey Epstein is there. Mark Foley, Gates Melinda, of course, Bill Gates' wife. I mean, Bill Gates did give her herpes, thanks to one of the parties. That was good. There we go. Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala was a hoe back in the day. Ask Montel Jordan. No, not Montel Jordan. The other Montel. Is Montel Jordan? I think Montel Jordan too. The hip hop, "Come to My Truck." What was the name of that? It was a banging song. You dare know. And also Montel, the sports stock guy. But Kamala Harris in the list. All right. I don't know who Ho Stanley is. Michael Jackson is in the list. Now, the King of Pop was tied up to some allegations related to some sexual abuse with minors back in the day, where he got sued. I think he settled. So I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Jackson had a role, or maybe Michael Jackson's being mentioned like Beyonce. Maybe Epstein won tickets to a concert. Jay-Z. I don't know what level, again, Jay-Z is part of the list, but I wouldn't be surprised. Jay-Z is one of the Illuminati guys here, man. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z has a lot of power. He's in that Diddy status. And 50 is going to work on exposing these motherfuckers. But Jay-Z, I don't know, man. Woody Allen. Woody Allen is on the list. All right, let me see here. Going down. Biden Ashley. Ashley Biden is in the building. Joe Biden is in the building in the list too. John Bolton. Todd Blanche. Trying to see if these names that I recognize. All right, George Bush Jr. This is the third Bush that's in this damn list. I am now interested, after seeing these names out there, what's going to come out next. Because we got all three Bushes. Bush Sr., Bush Jr., and Jeb Bush all coming out on the list. You got Dick Cheney, Tucker Carlson, As I mentioned, we don't know what level of involvement or what level of uh, of involvement these names are on this list. Some of them are just mentioned on emails. Some of them might be direct conversations. Some of them might be more than that. Let me see here. David Copperfield. Maybe he did some magic, some magic acts for Epstein. He made things disappear, like maybe charges. I said Dick Cheney. All right. Hillary again. Michael Cohen. James Comey, of course. Robert De Niro. Robert effing De Niro is in this piece right here too. Let me see where we're at. I lost track of time here. Some names here that I don't know. Michael Horowitz. Mick Jagger is up in here too. Maybe Mick. Well, Mick took a lot of drugs back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing something stupid. Mike Huckabee, where he saw his daughter Sarah mentioned earlier. That's it for this first page, man. There were some names, some interesting names. The one that stood out the most, of course, Bill Giuliani, Beyonce, like I said, is there. Hunter Biden, Pam Bondi, Bongino, all the three Bushes. Some interesting names. Even we have no idea from what level they're involved. Like I mentioned earlier. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Now with Hakeem Jeffries, a direct email from Jeffries to Epstein requesting some money, hopefully to endorse him and donate to his campaign. So, what does that tell you? Sorry, guys, letting my dog in. It's probably going to come out later. Smart. He doesn't like to smoke. Here we go. Hakeem Jeffries. So Hakeem Jeffries has been tied for a direct conversation to Epstein. All right, we got Janis Joplin, Robert Kennedy Jr., RFK is in here too. Here we go. Here we go. What else? I'm trying to look for names. Nancy Mace is in here too. Massey Thomas as well. Come on. Sorry, guys. Got my dog up in here. What else we got? Who else we got on the Epstein list here on the records I released yesterday? Benjamin Netanyahu as well. Benjamin Netanyahu, the president or the prime minister, whatever you call it in Israel, appeared in the list as well. In this entire list of names that was released yesterday by the DOJ. Lord Robert May. Let's see. Michelle Obama. First Obama to pop up. Big Mike. Big Mike probably was getting freaky with a couple of dudes and girls at the same time. And Barack was probably watching. Disgusting. Kash Patel also appears in this list. Now, it could be Kash Patel had positions in the federal government and the FBI during that time, the investigation. It could be him being mentioned in conversations. Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, also appears yesterday in this list. Elvis Presley, as I mentioned earlier. The list is composed from every name that appear in the documents, right? So all the PAFs, all the email communications that they were able to get, text messages, whatever communication was being held electronically, they just pulled out every name, whether it was a direct email chain with Epstein or whether names that were in the emails, right, in the body of the emails, in the conversation. So they just, for transparency purpose, this is what this list is all about. So everybody don't go crazy because a lot of these names don't mean shit, while there's some that do mean something. All right, we got that. Nancy Pelosi after Kash Patel. Pope John II. Hey, come on, man. Epstein was not Catholic, bro. Maybe he was trying to get a hold of John Pope, of the late John Paul, Pope John Paul II, in order to for him to get absolved of his sins because he knew he was going to die. I mentioned Elvis Presley, Dan Quayle. Maybe him and Dan were talking about global warming and shit. Which, by the way, have you seen the winners this year? All right, let's keep going. Let's rattling down this list here. We got Mitt Romney, Rod Rothstein. Who else we got? Let's see here. Amy Schumer is in the building. Hold on, let me go back. I'm losing my trot here. Nothing in the S's. Yep, Amy Schumer is in the building here as well. And the Epstein lease, right? I'm in the second page. Trying to rattle out the names that I know the most that stand out the page. Tim Scott. Tim Scott is in the building as well. I'm surprised with the amount of different a lot of political names, a lot of politicians from both sides of the aisle. Some of them were probably direct conversations. Some of them were probably being mentioned in these emails, conversational wise. You see Debbie, Kevin Spacey, who right now is broke as shit and has been blackballed from Hollywood. Bring it up. All right, let me see what else we got here. All right, what else do we got here? Oops, lost the page. John Kerry is another name that pops up. Monica Lewinsky. Again, Monica Lewinsky probably popped up because him and Bill were talking about probably the BJs Bill was getting back in the day in the Oval Office from Monica, and it was saying, dude, you got to have her over at the parties. That's the only, there's no doubt in my mind that Epstein and Bill Clinton spoke about Monica's rim job. And that's why her name is on the list, because she came out, she was part of the email conversation between him and Epstein. I have no doubt in my mind the reason why Monica's name is in this list that the DOJ released yesterday. Bill is unbelievable, bro. Bill Clinton, true pimp, leader of the free world. Listen, you got to call a spade, man. If y'all gonna fuck with Trump and mess with him about the lawsuits with the porn star before he was president, Bill Clinton was even worse. Because at least Trump was trying to gave this woman an NDA in his private time. Bill Clinton was doing it in the Oval Office, no NDA, just getting buck wild, using one of these in the process with Monica. I would love to see that email between Bill Clinton and Epstein talking about Monica Lewinsky and what cigar did they use. Did anybody knows what kind of cigar was Bill using? All right, let me see here. Maxine, of course, Maxine Gallons. I forget her name. She's the one that who's also in his home. John McCain, rest in peace. Robert Menendez. Let me see who else. Lisa Monaco. Gavin Newsom is in this list as well, and I will not believe, and I would be surprised, Newsom was in a lot of these parties, man, because he looks like that type. He's also scummy as hell. If anybody's watching from California, I feel sorry for y'all. But Florida is fully full. Do not move down here. This place is horrible. Stay away. It sucks. The weather's horrible. All right. I mean, don't move here. Don't move to Florida, damn it. All right, where we're at. So I left off at Gavin Newsom. AOC, Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria. To me, one of the dumbest politicians I've ever heard of ever walked the face of this planet. A complete fake, personality. She thinks she's down from the Bronx, when she's not. She's not from the fucking Bronx. She grew up like in Boston somewhere, upstate. That chick has never seen a free lunch a day in her life. Has never walked in the hood. Bullshit. But AOC is in the list. We don't know. Again, we don't know what level of involvement she's with Epstein. It could just, her name could have been mentioned in one of the emails. Ron Paul is in the building as well. Mike Pence is here too. All right, let me see. These names are Lisa Marie Presley. Of course, she's in here too as well. It's all about, again, this is the list that was released, or the names. Some of these names were direct emails from Epstein to the person, or they came out in conversations throughout the email chains. I mean, they probably did, like, again, a control find or a mail merge with all the names. And they, these are the ones that popped up. All right, Mike Pence. Let's see who else. J.B. Pritzker, Jamie Raskin. What else do we got here? Ryan Paul. Diana Ross is in here too. Give it to Epstein. He has a good taste in music. I mean, Elvis Presley. You got Jay-Z up in here, Beyonce, Cher, Diana Ross, Mick Jagger. He's probably like, getting tickets or saying that they hung out together or whatever the case may be. All right, let me see here. Adam Schiff is in here. All right. Alex Soros. That one intrigues me, because Alex Soros is one of the biggest backers. He's trying to destroy this country with indoctrination bullshit. So that's Soros' family, bro. They need to get investigated. Elliot Spitzer. All right. Alex Jones is in the house here too. John Kendall Rollins. Let me see here. Who else? The names that I know. Robert Maxwell. Alyssa Milano. Who's the boss? Marilyn Monroe, of course. Again, this is after the fact. Marilyn Monroe was dead. But again, she could have been part of a conversation. He probably said that to Marilyn Monroe. Elon Musk is in here as well. That's no secret. Barack Obama. I mentioned Michelle earlier. Barack is well published in the Epstein files. Lots of pictures of Barack and Michelle. Lots of pictures of Hillary and Bill. So Mike Pompeo, of course, a former FBI guy. Rosie O'Donnell. She's moving back to the U.S. Along with Ellen DeGeneres. They both left because they can't stand this administration. I'm sorry. Yet they couldn't make it in another country because it's not as damn good as the U.S. Folks, the U.S. is not perfect, but it is the best country in the world. Take it from a Cuban immigrant who escaped communism as a kid. Rosie O'Donnell, like Trump said, is a pig. She probably has herpes too. She always has a sore in her mouth. All right, let me see what else. Here we go. Mike Pompeo, like I said. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. We got princes up in this list too. We got Prince Harry, baby. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, is in the list that the DOJ released yesterday from the Epstein files. The list of names: John Ratcliffe, Ronald Reagan. He was probably saying that Ronald Reagan bust his ass when he was the president. Janet Reno is here too as well. There's a lot of names of people that were in power that probably went after him. Again, I'm going over and I'm trying to read. There's a lot of names, so I'm trying to go over the ones that I know and kind of makes more sense to me. Let me see here as I go down. There's a lot of names. Marco Rubio is in this list as well. Again, Marco Rubio has been in Congress for a while and Senate, and probably have a lot of committees that was going after him. Let me see here. We also have Steven Schwartzman, Ben Shapiro. You know, Bongino, Ben Shapiro. These were all political guys, with their own talk shows and stuff like that. So George Soros, first Alex and now George. Again, Soros probably had a lot of involvement here. You know what I mean? Probably a lot of involvement. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, as I mentioned, all these names in this list right here are from the DOJ release yesterday. Oh, we got a comment here from Reels TV. That list isn't is exhausted, and yes. So I kind of agree with you. It's something to throw out to the public and say, hey, look, chill, leave me alone for a bit. There's a lot of names. I absolutely agree with Reels Pill TV. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the comment. But George Soros is another piece of shit. Again, it's a list of names that came out, not just direct conversation, not email these people were not all of them that were in direct conversation with Epstein, but they were probably mentioned in a lot of his emails. There's probably like thousands and thousands of freaking emails here. They were able to do this too. They were able to find Epstein's emails, but not Hillary's. That's the part that's crazy. I would love to see this if they would have gotten a hold of Hillary's emails. All right, so George Soros, we got Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen is in the house. All right, let me see. Barbara Streisand, Eric Swalwell. No, Swalwell, whatever his name is. I can't, sorry, guys. All right, this is page 2. Out of this page, the one that stood out to me the most was Hakeem Jeffrey, which we know he had a direct conversation with him. The Soros family, Alex and George. All right, Barack Obama. Let me see who else kind of like jumped out of the page. Tim Scott, Marco Rubio. These may not be nothing. So there we go. Last piece of information here. Ivanka Trump is in this list. JD Vance. This is the last piece right here. Kevin Walsh. Jeff Zucker. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Melania Trump. Wexner Abigail, of course, the wife. Mark Zuckerberg. Thatcher Margaret. Donald Trump. Les Wexner. Right here. Big list. I think it's just one of those things that this is to kind of calm the masses down. You know what I mean? It's based on, because they have to disclose based under the Epstein Transparency Act. I'm actually going to the document. And there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff. But as I mentioned earlier, something had to come out. Something had to come out. I think people are pressuring Pam Bondi. I don't know how long she's going to have left. But they wanted to see names. So they just released all the names. Which, what does this mean with all these names? Like I mentioned earlier, right now it doesn't mean anything. We don't know out of all these names, because there's hundreds and hundreds of names here. We don't really know who was direct involvement with violating the law, the sexual abuse, all the rapes, sex trafficking. We don't know yet who directly is being charged, because they haven't released that part yet. And I think that's the bombshell. Names were released. Every name they found on every piece of communication direct communication or just being mentioned in the emails or the text messages. That's what I gather from this. And I think after Trump saying that he will release the entire list, that was one of his campaign's promises. And the fact that he crawfished a little bit and said, well, you know, it's bullshit, it's fake news, but he has to provide something. And folks, he is the president and he may have the power to probably not come out in a negative manner. Now, according to, if you all knew, 5 days before, ABC News, right here, his name came out on the list because former police chief who investigated Jeffrey Epstein in the mid-2000s told the FBI he received a call from Donald Trump at the time to say, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known him doing this, according to the FBI account. That's why his name is on there. Like the previous comment said, is exhaustive and is a list for distractions. It could be a list for distractions, but it's something to give out to the public. And now everybody and their mother can make their own assumptions of who's what and where. You know, right? That could be it, you know? So, sorry, let me, how do I take out of that? Sorry. Look at that. It's a new feature. I didn't know that you'd actually do this. Now I can do a couple of lives in, sports. So, smoking a nice little stogie. Appreciate all who tune in. Just going out here live, talking a little Epstein, smoking a cigar. So here you go. Go check it out. Do your thing. Do your research. Don't just judge any name in the list. Wait until more stuff comes out and let's see what happens. Appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in, bro. Later. Have a great rest of your night. And for those who don't have to go to work tomorrow, like myself, enjoy the day off. Peace out.